Council, April 24th, 2023 meeting is ordered.
Dear Lord, we invite you to preside over this meeting. Even if we have different opinions, give us unity of spirit. Help us each to listen politely as others share their points of view. Help us to work as a unified team in combining ideas for a great outcome. Help us to work as a whole rather than as individuals trying to promote their own agendas. May we have a spirit of camaraderie in this room and work together on our shared mission.
Amen. Have a motion to approve of the agenda.
So moved.
Properly moved and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, likewise, ayes have it. John, we have any public comment?
Yes, sir. Mr. J.S. White.
Good evening, my name is J.S. White. I'm the majority owner of Sandy Run Arms and Ammo. What brings me here tonight is the funding issues for our public safety, primarily the police department. My partner has written a letter addressed to the council, which I would like you to read along with me. Then I'd like to share my personal thoughts on this issue as well. So I have copies here, if I may. Dear council members, I'm writing this letter to express my concern with county council budgeting priorities for Calhoun County. We've just received our federal firearms license to open our new business, Sandy Run Arms and Ammo. Our investment will be $500,000 to open this community-friendly store. Our plan is to have a gathering point for community hunters, fishermen, and archery enthusiasts. We will offer gunsmithing, training, custom ammunition, testing of future products for Calhoun County Sheriff's Department, and many other services not found in the big box store. Our tentative opening date is August 2023. Currently, construction is 50% complete at the time of this letter, excuse me. The selection of Calhoun County was chosen over Lexington and Richland Counties. We need Calhoun County to change its priority regarding the Sheriff's Department funding. It's very important for our business to be covered with the quickest response times as possible if needed for our business. Regards, Sam White, owner, Sandy Run Arms and Ammo. Now this is something that I drafted today. I'm currently in the middle of moving from a very well-paying commercial plumbing, HVAC, and mechanical business, which I've been invested in for the last 7 years, to my own business located on Old Swamp Road. Last year, an opportunity presented itself for me to open a local gun store here in Sandy Run, and that is what brings me here. Adding to everything my partner has mentioned, I hope to add a 25-yard indoor shooting range, which will be available to all Sandy Run law enforcement. Sandy Run Arms and Ammo's mission is different from much larger stores. I wanted to build a place where people of all skill levels and backgrounds will have that neighborhood gun store feeling when they walk in. I want to build a place for us to learn, train, shoot, talk, and work together. Part of that equation hopefully includes Calhoun County Police Department. I'm hoping to serve our police department with their needs, trading in firearms or gear for newer versions, purchasing optics, ammunition for training, or just needing a place to train out of the weather. If the police department needs to test new firearms, Sandy Run Arms and Ammo will soon offer that service as well. If our police officers leave our county, that will be harming my business directly. I also want to add that I'm the only one on the payroll at the moment, so a quick response time is much appreciated. Finally, I want to wrap this up. It's amazing what a 21-year-old in Afghanistan doesn't understand until you get older. During my last deployment overseas in southern Afghanistan, we were operating what is known as the fish hook. It stretches from the Khanishan Castle westward towards Bagaz and south all the way to the Pakistani border and covers roughly 2,000 to 2,500 miles. During our training prior to deployment, our mission was understood all the way down to the lowest rank. Clear, hold, build. In that order. Before we build anything, we must first make it safe. Second, make sure we have the resources to keep it safe. And then let the CBs come in and do what they do, just build. Then in the cover of night, we blood up, refuel, and we're on to the next target. I believe a lot can be taken away from this mission, all the way down to our lowest rank. As we grow together, please consider the safety of all businesses, big and small, around Calhoun County as the #1 priority. Thanks.
Thanks, Chairman.
That's it.
That's it. Okay, no more public comments. Now, in the public hearing on ordinance 2023-3. Third reading, John, you mind reading that one?
Yes, sir. Ordinance 2023-3, third reading, public hearing. An ordinance amending chapter 30 of the Calhoun County Code of Ordinances to amend the composition, responsibilities, and duties of the governing boards for the Calhoun County Rural Fire District and the Sandy Run Fire District, and to provide that these fire protection districts shall be operated as an administrative division of Calhoun County and other matters related thereto.
You're now open for public comments or questions. No public comments or questions, the hearing on 2023-3 is now closed. You have a motion for approval of third reading.
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, likewise, ayes have it. Have a motion for approval of the minutes of April 10th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any further discussion? Okay, do we have any committee reports?
You want me to
You
give?
can go ahead and give it up. Give it up.
Okay, the executive committee, which is the chairman and vice chairman, we met Thursday, correct?
You need to go back and vote, Mr. James.
I'm sorry. Apologize. All in favor of the ordinance 20? No, approval of the minutes, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Getting confused. Motion for approval of the minutes. Did somebody make the motion?
You made a motion, you had a second.
All in
Rebecca
favor?
made the motion.
Okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, likewise, ayes have it.
Okay.
I apologize for that. Now we're down to committee reports.
Okay, the executive committee is actually chaired by the chairman. It includes the chairman and me. As part of our Thursday meeting on the agenda, we included a meeting of the executive committee, so we would not have two meetings of basically the same people. We are currently looking at our rules of procedure, as the ordinance is out of date. We've gotten some input, like from Ms. Barnett, if anyone else has any input into it, but we have not finalized what we're gonna bring back to council yet. So right now, we are in the process of looking at those rules of, is it called rules of procedure?
Yes, sir.
Rules of procedure, that includes things like, we're gonna streamline, it looks like we're gonna need to streamline it a little bit. Right now, we operate under a modified form of the Robert's Rules of Order. And it states that in our rules of procedure. But later on, it almost restates a lot of what Robert's Rules of Order says. We also operate under, the laws, like the laws for, of the state of South Carolina. And a lot of what's in our rules of procedure just rehash what is already in law. So we're gonna try to make it simpler, make it more clear, more to the point, so that we can have a better operation of our meeting situation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other committee reports?
No.
Under appearances, we have USDA Representative Tinker Grant. Yeah.
It does not look like it, Mr. Chairman.
Trust waste act, impact on county needs.
Good evening, council.
Even
I want to talk to you a little bit tonight about wants versus needs. In every business in America, people sit around boardrooms every day making hard decisions about wants versus needs. And I know people say that this is a county and we're not a business, but I disagree. We are a business. Most businesses create something, whether it be a widget, whether it be a service. Here in Calhoun County, we produce something, quality of life for our taxpayers. So keep in mind as we're doing our jobs, the number one thing that we're producing in Calhoun County is quality of life for our taxpayers. Saying that, we have to make hard decisions as it's budget time. There's not an endless supply of money. And I understand that there's hard decisions to make every day to prioritize needs and to prioritize wants. As we start looking, as this current budget is coming up, one of the things I want you to understand first and foremost is a top need in this county is safety for all residents. I don't care who you are, I don't care whether you're rich, poor, black, white, pink, green. Everybody deserves the opportunity to raise their family in a safe environment. That comes in three forms: our law enforcement, our EMS, and our fire and rescue personnel. One of the big issues in our county is our law enforcement and the underfunding of our law enforcement. We have men and women out here every day risking their lives, putting on a bulletproof vest with the opportunity they may not get to go home from the end of that shift to serve us, the taxpayers of Calhoun County. They're doing it at typically a 30% reduction in salary from what our neighboring counties are starting deputies and patrolmen at. That's a staggering number, 30%. I've heard it said by council that it's not as dangerous to do the job in Calhoun County. Frankly, I disagree with you, and numbers don't lie. The numbers disagree with you. Lexington County currently has 205 patrol deputies on the road. That's not deputies that are assigned to courthouses or schools or anything else. 205 patrol deputies. And yes, they answer a lot more calls than we do. 227,914 to be exact for last year. If you divide that out, that's roughly 1,115 calls per deputy per year. Calhoun County currently has 10 patrol deputies out on the road. According to Sheriff Summers, we responded to nearly 20,000 calls last year. That means that our deputies responded to nearly 2,000 calls per deputy, as opposed to the counterparts in Lexington County making 30% more that only answered 1,115 calls. Many of you read the paper, you noticed that we had, unfortunately, a member of law enforcement community got shot just over a week ago. Thank the Lord he's doing okay and got to come home to his family yesterday. That was in rural Bamberg County. That was not Richland or Lexington or Charleston or Greenville. That was a rural county, very similar to ours. Crime's crime. I don't care where you are, whether you're in a big city or whether you're in St. Matthews, South Carolina. Crime is crime, and it's dangerous for these men and women that put on this vest every day. They deserve our support. They deserve to be paid an equal wage as Richland and Lexington and any other big city. There's no way we can expect our sheriff to do his job when he's got men and women starting out at $15,000 under what they can go to the next county over and get a job. According to Lexington County, as of this morning, they have 35 open positions at a starting salary of $50,000. We have 9 open positions in Calhoun County.
gonna be hard for us to find 9 people when Lexington County next door is trying to find 35, and they're willing to pay 15 more than us to start out the door. Saying that, I want to read a portion of a letter from Zeus Industrial, and I'm sure all of you have seen it because it was sent to the council. And Zeus has sent me this letter and asked me to reiterate this point to make sure it hits close to home. Zeus Industrial. One of Zeus's core values is our people. To that end, we spend a great deal of time, money, and effort ensuring that our valued team members have a safe environment to work in. As such, it is critical to us that Calhoun County has sufficient public service resources, public safety, fire, EMS, as well as water and wastewater treatment available to meet our daily business needs and, as importantly, to provide a timely response in times of needs and crisis. From our perspective, Calhoun County needs to shift its focus to provisions of these basic services and to evaluate them to be level in both existing and future businesses. What Zeus is saying is they're a business here in the county. They're the second largest employer in this county. They have 5 focuses: law enforcement, fire and rescue, EMS, water, and wastewater. Prioritize that above everything else. Needs versus wants. We want fancy recreation complexes in this county. We want $385,000 concession stands. We want pickleball courts. Those aren't needs. Not one of those will save anyone's life. I heard it said that if we had more recreation and more things for our young people to do, we wouldn't need as much law enforcement. I'm a statistics and numbers guy, so I searched and I searched and I called everybody I could call. I spoke to the American Public Works Association, which specializes in rural counties. And I spoke with them and I asked them if they had any statistical data showing me that by putting in more recreation complexes, it would reduce our need for law enforcement. The young lady laughed at me and said, actually, to the contrary. She said, be prepared. Every dollar you spend on recreation, you better be prepared as a county to match it to your sheriff's department. She said, the first thing you're going to find is your traffic control needs to grow if you're having events. If you're trying to bring in travel ball, someone's got to be out there on those weekends to direct traffic. She said, the next thing you're going to discover is when you have moms up there on weeknights with their kids out on the field practicing. Moms want to leave their purse in the car. You need more law enforcement patrol in the parking lot so that someone's not breaking into those single moms' cars and stealing the little bit that they have. Every single thing she told me was actually to the contrary. She said, for every dollar you put into recreation, be prepared to give the same dollars to your law enforcement in the county because they're going to need it to add additional resources and manpower. I'm not going to leave EMS out. Unfortunately, our EMS personnel are about 20% below the state average right now. We have Crystal Yeomans has worked diligently and tirelessly to get EMS to a point that it's as good as it can be in this county. But we still have response times to areas that are higher than she would like them to be. At some point, we're going to have to add an additional substation, which is going to require additional personnel to keep our EMS response times down to where they need to be. We've talked about the need for a ladder truck in Sandy Run. We have 42-foot tall structures going up as we speak. And the only ladder truck in the county is the town of St. Matthews, which only has a 75-foot stick, which won't fight a 42-foot tall structure fire building. That's a big investment. And I know we're working towards it because I've talked to John and he's working tirelessly towards getting that. But it's got to happen sooner than later. The last thing I'm going to touch on real quick is the $80 fire fee. We've got to come up with a way to fund the rural fire district other than an $80 fire fee. Currently, we have 5,433 structures in the county with greater than a $2,000 value that pay that $80 fire fee. And you can do the math real quick, $80 times 5,433 is a little under $500,000. The problem in saying that is Station 7 Call and Station 31 Sandy Run more calls than any other station in the county. Between the two, they responded to just a shade over 500 calls last year on I-26 for help and service. That may be wrecks, it may be vehicle fires. Of those 500 calls, I don't know that a single one of them was a Calhoun County resident. It doesn't mean when the radio goes off that you can say, well, it's not a taxpayer, we're not going. Everybody gets the same service and everybody gets the same help. Unfortunately, what that means is the 5,433 structures that are paying your $80 fire fee are putting the entire bill for everybody passing through on our interstate. I don't know what the long-term answer there is. There's got to be some other way for the county to help the fire service to recoup or to give some of this money to help provide the level of service that this interstate's going to take. If you look at 510 calls in 365-day period on I-26, that's a lot to ask of your volunteers. There's not one paid firefighter going to I-26. It's all volunteers every day. It's only going to continue to get worse as this widening begins to happen here. It's going to get, these numbers are going to grow. The fire service has got to have help. When you start looking at budgeting, please, as you look at dollars, and I know everybody's looking at them hard, remember wants versus needs, and prioritize our needs ahead of our wants. And remember that we are a business, and we are producing something here in Calhoun County, which is quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you the spokesperson for the sheriff?
I am not the spokesperson for the sheriff. I have no affiliation with the sheriff. Let's make sure we're very clear on that.
Well, I just want to make, because I sat down with the sheriff in his office. I don't know if anybody else did, because I didn't see anybody else there when I was. But I'm working with the sheriff, and our staff's working with the sheriff, from what I understand, trying to make sure we get the budget needs he needs.
That's right. And I'm not speaking on behalf of the sheriff. I'm not speaking on behalf of the sheriff's department. I'm speaking on behalf of myself and other concerned citizens that this is how we want to see our tax dollars spent. I appreciate that many of you are working with the sheriff's department, and I'm not trying to take that away. And I'm very clear, I work with the sheriff. I don't represent the sheriff in any way. This is how I personally feel. This is how many
Thank you, sir.
taxpayers.
Thank you, sir.
And that's, my point with that is, when you say we have an entire county to look at. And you know, there's other people that put us in these seats. We listen to everybody. And, you know, I've said before that I'm glad to listen to anybody, and I appreciate you coming forward, but I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't needing to speak with you on what the sheriff's gonna need.
No, sir, you don't need to speak with me, you can speak with the sheriff on his needs. I'm just trying to show you where we go as a county versus other things.
Okay, I appreciate it, and I thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Sir, I'm sorry, but we don't operate like that. You gotta get on an agenda, you can sign back there.
Okay.
I'm sorry, yeah, just kind of like it.
Yes, sir. We've got Mr. James Leslie from USDA here. If you'll come on up, please.
Thank you, Council. Sorry to traffic on the way in today, but I was here to deliver the letter of conditions for the grant that y'all received last fiscal year, 2022. Sorry about that. Is this better?
Yes.
All right. So I was here to deliver the letter of conditions.
I guess me work for the sheriff now.
All right. I'm here on behalf of the advisory administration
Okay.
and Secretary Tom Vilsack, and on behalf of our state director, Dr. Sandra Glover, and the deputy state director, George H. Hicks, and the area director for this area, which actually is not, it used to be Rusty Craven out in Fox. Does everybody have a copy of?
We've received.
All right, okay. So this letter establishes the conditions for completing this grant to complete the obligation process. The grant isn't considered obligated until we receive the letter back, the 1946, the letter to meet the letter conditions. And once we get that signed back to us, we consider it obligated once you mail that back to us, either by mail or email. Just gonna go over some of the conditions. This grant is to purchase a fire tank truck. The expected cost of this truck was to be $420,000. Our portion is gonna be $50,000. The Calhoun counties will be $370,000 approximately. Generally with CF grants, you've got a little bit of leeway. If it comes in cheaper, our portion will still stay $50,000 because of, y'all gonna have the match for this, for the $50,000 grant, so I don't really see any issues with that. For disbursement of these funds, we can, with this being an equipment grant, once y'all purchase the equipment, send us the invoices. We're gonna get y'all the forms so we can have everything set up that we can try to disperse these funds within 2 days of receiving that letter. So I'll be working with y'all on that. I've got some of the forms for us to sign after this. Security requirements for this grant, there's only one that really pertains to this, and that's gonna be signing the grant agreement. We're not taking a loan, this isn't construction, so most of the portions of the letter conditions don't pertain to this because it's an equipment. We will require that there be insurance on the fire truck, obviously. And we will also, this grant is subject to our civil rights and equal opportunity rules and regulations, which y'all are well aware of, and so it's not gonna be an issue either. When it comes to grants like these, it's, once y'all purchase the equipment, you give us the invoices, we reimburse y'all for the grant. Is there any real major issues or questions with this?
John, if you got excuse me, may I ask a question? If you got an answer to my question about part B under the first paragraph where the money was, look at what we received, where it shows the breakdown on the money.
Yes, sir.
It showed under part A was correct, that it was $370,000, I think, from the county and $50,000 from but under part B, I think it showed the source of the money was $50,000, which was backwards. So we would need that corrected.
Yes, sir. We'll get that penciled in right away.
Yeah, because, they don't match for one thing, and another thing is, we are given the 300, our penny sales tax is paying the $370,000.
Yes, sir. And our grant doesn't go up that high.
Okay, well, we would love for you to provide $370,000 if you want to do that, but,
I wish we could do that. That's,
so like I say, I just noticed that it was out of sync there.
yeah, I appreciate it. That's a good catch on that.
Would you like to sign it after this meeting?
Yes,
Chair?
sir.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and one line that and get that taken care of.
Just get an
That's what-
initial,
Yes, sir.
with an initial, yeah. But I'd like for that to be corrected before we vote. We get ready to take a vote on it. This requires a motion or
Yes,
just
sir.
accept the grant? Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept a $50,000 grant and put with our money, our penny sales tax money to purchase the tanker. Is that what it's gonna be? The tanker for San Juan Fire Department, correct?
That's right.
From the Department of Agriculture.
They have a second.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, likewise, the ayes have it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Do you have a resolution?
Yes, sir. Resolution 7-2023, resolution to amend the existing amended and restated agreement for development of Joint County Industrial Park by and between Calhoun County, South Carolina, and Lexington County, South Carolina, to enlarge the boundaries of the industrial park to include certain properties now or to be hereafter owned and/or operated by Gateway One LLC and Gateway Three LLC located in Lexington County, South Carolina, and authorized other related matters. And what this is, council, is this is a joint agreement that we've done several times in the past, where if the project is in our county, Calhoun County, we receive 99% of the revenue. The county that we partner with in this joint gets the 1%. In this situation, Lexington's asking us to join with them, to partner with them, and so we would be receiving the 1% since it's in Lexington County, and they will get the 99%. That makes sense?
John, sure, if we don't, agree with them, they'll just go with somebody else.
They would go to another county.
The actually would be losing money.
That's
Losing
correct.
money.
All right. Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt resolution 7-2023.
Have a second.
Second.
Properly moving second, any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, likewise, the ayes have it. And the new business procurement software for probate court.
Yes, sir. Probate has requested, the probate court has requested to change their management software from Icon software to Spartan technology. This technology provides for a more user-friendly software with automations that trigger workflow within the office and has features that will remind clients of their duties in court. This is a request of $22,470 for updated software for the probate court.
Motion,
Mr. Chairman, can I ask,
yes, sir.
this has been through our procurement process?
Yes, sir.
So it's up to speed on that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the $22,470 for the purchase of the new software for probate court.
Have a second.
Second.
Properly moving second, any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, likewise, the ayes have it. Rural Fire District Board appointee, Jumper Station, Volunteer Fire Department.
Yes, sir. I have a letter here, saying Calhoun County Council, due to unforeseen circumstances, the Jumper Station Volunteer Fire Department Board has removed Carson Corsett from the position of Calhoun County Fire Commission member effective immediately. Mr. Corsett's place, in Mr. Corsett's place, the Jumper Station Fire Department Board has nominated Mr. Christopher Sanders to be on the Calhoun County Fire Commission. We would like your approval for this change to be put in place.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Mr. Christopher Sanders as the new, member of the Rural Fire District Board from Jumper Station.
May I have a second?
Second.
Properly moving second, any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, likewise, the ayes have it. I have a, not on the agenda, but I have a letter here going to the Association of Counties. Excuse me, you may know something about this because you're on that board. South Carolina Association of Counties is pleased to announce its annual Board of Directors Scholarship Program. That's what we want to let people know right there. Money's coming from different places where you have to use for certain things. You can't take every penny the county get and just say, well, we use it like that. We're directed, that money is directed to use, and we have to use it for that specific thing. And that's why certain things happen. This program awards 4 $2,500 scholarships on an annual basis to graduating high school seniors who are residents of counties chosen by lot by the Association of Counties. Since Calhoun County was selected in the draw, one scholarship will be awarded to a Calhoun County student. I think they're having that, and I think they're gonna have that award Wednesday night, I think at 6 o'clock, and I'll be up there to make that presentation to the student. What's that student name again, Sheila? That's why I was looking through these papers, I couldn't, you have it?
Gabriel Golden.
Gabriel Golden is the recipient of that scholarship. And, I'm proud of him, because I think they had to write some essays and stuff like that to see, you know, I think they chose 3 seniors from our school, 3 Calhoun Academy. And, he was a winning student. So I'm proud of Gabriel, and we'll be up there Wednesday night
On the 20th, we had 26 volunteers picking up 67 bags of trash. So I certainly want to thank everybody who participated in that, especially the general public that religiously comes out and helps us. And also the Purple Martin Festival. Certainly, if you haven't heard about it, it was the largest we've ever had. I've talked to several people. Between Friday night's event and Saturday's event, somewhere between the 5,000 to 7,000 visitors came through, much larger than we expected, but we definitely picked up the advertising and the marketing, tried to bring in some different features that we haven't had before. And some of those features that were really took off was the healthcare pavilion. We had 18 service providers in healthcare. We had a lot of folks getting checks, making appointments, that type of thing, and so that was good to hear. We had a lot of children's rides this time that we've never had, and they stayed full the entire time, certainly. And then the petting zoo was a big hit for most of the folks here. So I want to thank everybody. I'm not going to start, because certainly we had a committee between the town and the county. We formed a committee, and those committee members, I will thank at a later date, but it definitely takes a village to put these things on. So I want to thank everybody for their help as well as their participation. Chairman, that's it for me.
Okay. No, again, I want to congratulate y'all on the Purple Martin. That was fantastic. I mean, it was like the old days, and I appreciate that. Your marketing paid off, I think. We appreciate that.
Yeah, it was a lot of hard work. Y'all got the staff, volunteers, sponsors, everything. It was a great event. Appreciate everything everybody did.
Dr. Mullen is here from the Walsh-Banner Council of Governments, which represent Aiken, Allendale, Bamberg, Barnwell, Calhoun, and Orangeburg. Dr. Mullen comes over here religiously once a month to report to us. We appreciate you driving over to Aiken to come over here. You have any comments?
Always a pleasure to be here, sir. You're on the other side of the street on the parade, but I was at the parade. I showed Brandon my picture of the goats. Usually I have a bigger crowd here. I gave Shayla these things. You all know there was a lot of federal money that came out for a number of different things in infrastructure. I'm glad you mentioned sewer and water. There's a gentleman who did that. Broadband. You forgot broadband. Okay? Broadband is the heart of everything from education to businesses. And so right now, there's about half $500 million out there in broadband money that the state has that they're trying to get out. What they've done is they've let the market do that, and so they divide up a lot of the different counties and territories, and there's competition for them. So if you know, and I hope nobody here works for AT&T, but AT&T might have had a region, and they didn't build on it, didn't get that service out to those homes, okay? They were the ones who had it. Nobody else could go in there. With the new funding and everything else, this is all opened up so that there's competition, and your electric co-ops are getting in. Everybody else is getting in. I know that in Bamberg County as well as in Barnwell, Spectrum is all over the place, connecting homes to fast-speed internet service, which is a must. Okay. That being said, the other part of it is that even if you have service right in front of your house, you may not be able to afford it. And so there's a program in the state that also is going to be helping folks with about $30 a month to support that effort. And so I've given Shayla these Get Connected SC. Okay, it's one of those things we've been asking people to fill out. It's a QR code, right? That was good. QR code on here. So if you do that and check that out, and I'll make sure, and I'll put this back here so they can grab it on the way out. If y'all will take the survey for us, we would greatly appreciate that. It helps them understand where the needs are and where they need to be starting to put their money first. That's real important, okay? So to let you know, I'm gonna put these back up here. If you could help me out with that, I would greatly appreciate that. And once again, the Purple Martin Festival was absolutely fantastic. I enjoyed the parade and the food tremendously.